Welcome to Film Study, an all-American podcast with Lexi. I'm Lexi, and I'm hyped because my Twitter sister, Hailey, is on the podcast.
Hi, oh my gosh, that's so nice.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all of those things. But let's get into it because this episode of Homecoming, Love and War, it was a good one. This was just a good week for the All-American universe, I feel like.
It was
solid. Right off the bat, what were your thoughts about the episode?
Oh, I thought this was just a solid episode. I think it's better than last week's. Like, every week is getting better.
I agree.
The actors kind of know more of their character a little bit. Dynamics are forming.
Yeah.
My love for JR is growing.
My boo!
Oh, love of my life. Just got to plug that in there.
Literally, yes. But no, you're so right, because I was thinking, and I feel like I said this last week too, but I was just like, I feel like each week I'm going to have I'm going to be a stand for a different person, as far as the acting, and like you said, as far as digging into characters. And this week I feel like Peyton just really settled into who David is.
Sure.
Like, he reminded me so much of the college athletes I know.
When he gave that back talk, I was like, oh, okay.
Right. That, and then obviously Camille.
Camille, I've never seen like an actor or an actress be shipped with so many people as people ship.
It's true. She's
Thea,
shipped with everybody.
Thea is like the town, like the cast whore, as in people just putting her with anybody they want to, and like they just want to see it.
But also, can we that's also Layla.
Oh my god.
It's something about me, like quote unquote Mean Girls. Even though I don't think either of them fall into. I think Thea is a little bit more of a traditional.
Thea is more of a traditional, like, she's a mean girl.
Right. But yeah, there's something about that trope that people are like, I just want to see them with everybody.
I want to see her. Thea has fandoms.
As she should. But yeah, no, it was a good episode. It's been getting better every week. And yeah, so I think off the bat, we're going to start with them grown-ups, Amara and Turner. We did find out that they did date, and we've been sitting on this for a while. It wasn't surprising.
Not at all.
I still personally think she has more chemistry with Z.
Oh, she for sure does. No, but when I was watching her scenes with Turner, right before they alluded to them dating, I was like, oh, he wants her. And
he does, and you can tell that from him. But it doesn't feel like she wants him. And I feel like that's where I feel like that's where the disconnect is. Like, if she was giving a little more want, then I would ship it.
Don't think they just don't have chemistry like that much to me. No,
I agree. But anyway, so they were talking about just the fact that she, this student of hers, this former student, who she also had chemistry with, and I was a little concerned for a second. I'm like, are you about to date this old student?
That woman just has chemistry with everybody.
She does. And so her old student came, basically offered her a job. She was considering taking it because her tenure was put on pause. So she was talking about it with Marcus. That's when we find out that they eventually dated. Marcus then basically defended her to the president, and then they ended up finding out that all of the professors' tenures have been put on pause because the Princeton is in trouble. Of course they are.
It stressed me out too. I was like, okay, we're already in financial ruins.
Stressed.
Episode 3.
Not financial ruins, but it's true. I was just like, what is it? Next episode, the lights are going off.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They can't pay their bills.
Damn. Beyonce needs to open up her purse.
True. Very true, very true. That's hilarious. Um no, but so that was that. What did you think about the whole Amara job offer, school in trouble? And now she might write an article about it too.
Amara is not leaving anybody. Like, please, girl. Like, you're not leaving.
No, I know.
You're um I think I wasn't really I didn't think I would enjoy the adult scenes as much as I do. There's
Hmm.
something about Amara that I find intriguing. Especially
Yeah.
with this whole not to jump ahead. With this whole like backstory with her and Turner. I wanna know what's up with that.
Yeah. Yeah, because it almost doesn't feel like the traditional we used to date type thing.
It's like
They
we
gave a
date, it's like
very
something happened.
right, like they gave a very vague like, oh, we disagreed on this and
Oh
that, but it
baby.
seems like no, I know. We're gonna get to that with predictions. But it was like it just seemed as if they're still cool with one another. So we
Yeah.
don't really understand the that whole deal. So it's gonna be interesting, and we'll talk about that when we get to predictions. But other than that, on a totally different trajectory, Keisha as a resident assistant, which this storyline just continues to be just traumatizing for me personally because I'm like I don't want to relive my resident assistant
Are
days
you oh god.
through this show. But just had this like naggy resident, Walinda, who she came out of
Melinda
nowhere.
needs her ass beat, and I'm so serious about that. Like, I've never seen such a disrespectful human being in my life.
No, I
She's so
know.
rude. She
She
doesn't even
came
say
out of nowhere.
hi, excuse me. She just walks up and interrupts the conversation.
Every single scene she was in, she was filing some complaint. She misgendered Nathaniel. She was talking about Nathaniel getting special treatment and this and that and that and this. And it was just a lot. Why do we need this? Who is this person coming in here?
She's so random too. I was like, like where did she come from?
Exactly. We've never seen this girl before in our life, and she just comes
She's lucky
and causes mess.
is the RA because Keisha would have busted a cap in her ass. That's how much. Like I did not like that girl. Like
That's
I'm
true.
actually very angry that I had to see her. The actress did
No,
amazing though because I did not
she
like
did. She did. She did. Um, and so basically, she kept giving complaints to Keisha, yeah, about Simone staying in this Nathaniel's room, about obviously Nathaniel having a separate bathroom and an RA room, about Thea's non-existent birthday party, which we'll get to in a second. Uh, but just complaints out the wazoo. So eventually, that whole thing ended with Nathaniel sticking up for herself and saying, I'm not going to take this, eventually filing a complaint about Willinda as well because she has some secrets of her own with sneaking her boyfriend into the dorm. And then Nathaniel very, very calmly just saying, we're going to be friends, which I
so
thought was
classy.
so classy, and it ended on a very very heartfelt moment of Nathaniel telling Keisha she doesn't need Keisha to be a shield for her.
That got
And
me. I
it
almost
was
cried watching that
such,
scene.
I know, it was such a special moment. And to hear that, to say that I need to create a safe space for myself was really, it was really nice to see on screen.
Yeah, and I hope Walinda. I hope your boyfriend picks up with you. I'm not even joking.
I'm dead. Not your boyfriend brings up. But I feel like if he's dating Melinda, then he is not that great of a guy
He's
anyway.
already trash.
He's already trash, so maybe she's already getting what she deserves. But to that point, yeah,
Holy
you're
fuck.
right.
She's like,
You're
well, why
right.
don't you go to his dorm?
Yeah. Facts, exactly. Why don't you go to his dorm? And so that was that, and again ended on a really really special note, and I love that they got to explore that conversation on screen
Yeah,
as well.
I honestly, it's been 3 episodes, but you can already tell that they're so close,
Right,
and you can feel the love in those scenes.
right.
And I just like to say, the hair and the makeup, amazing.
Flawless, flawless.
Like it was
Yes,
laid. The wigs, please.
yeah, yeah, and especially because Nathaniel is a stylist.
I know Nathaniel just. That's honestly like the love of my life.
Yeah, yeah, so amazing. Um, and so that was that. I feel like it's so Homecoming is very similar but very different from All American in the sense that even though there are a few storylines, it feels more contained. Like it doesn't feel like as many storylines.
Yeah, because all American will just have so much going on. You're like, who is like, what? How did we get here?
Exactly. There's gonna be seven things happening at once.
And Simone doesn't have any type of hero complex that I know of, so we won't be seeing her try.
I
To,
don't know. I feel like we're exploring Simone's hero complex,
but
but
with
we'll get to that
Thea,
in a second.
oh
Well,
no.
when we talk about Simone, we'll get to that in a second. But quickly before we hop into that, the other major storyline was that the baseball team needed new equipment to boost their morale. And Damon's mom comes because he tried to get sponsors for the baseball team to get this new equipment using his mom's contacts, and she found out about it, and XYZ ended up shoehorning herself into the situation, getting permission from President Allen to do all of this stuff, trying to launch Damon's brand underhandedly, pretending that she cared about the team, and basically Damon flipped the script on all of that stuff, and you know really let the team shine at this presentation. Side note, our Boo JR was preaching
Preaching and looking good while doing it.
and looking good
I just
while
have to,
doing it.
put some respect on his name.
Talking about legacy, talking about the fact that his families were generations of baseball players that all
Hopefully
played
meet
at
them.
Princeton. That was crazy. Did not know that.
Yeah.
So that was real cool.
I was like, I don't know how much baseball. I don't know how much like that costs, but how much equipment do they really need?
I think it's quite a lot because you have helmets and gloves and baseball bats, and baseball
Is
bats are
Damon
not
rich?
cheap.
Is Damon rich?
I feel like he is because
Can
he was
Homeboy just not
writing.
pay for that himself? If that, am I crazy for asking that? Like, why couldn't he just open up his purse and pay for it? Sell that chain on your neck.
I'm dead. I'm dead. No, you're right. No, I thought about that when he was talking about them all pulling it together in a pile fund or whatever of when they got their sponsorship deals from the local community, which Marcus put together. But I was just like, wait, what about the players that don't got money like that? Now they gotta put the money in for the team, and they don't have
Can we
any change for
can
themselves.
are we on the part where they like had their little like their like that meeting or that presentation?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Didn't realize that there were a lot of non-black um
No, I
I was like,
know.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Thrilled.
it was realistic for them to have like a Latino on the team for sure. But yeah, there was this like white guy that came out, and I was
And
just
then the
like, oh,
back, I was like, what
Brixton.
are you doing here?
Was I the only one that was really confused because it's always been talked about like Princeton, black excellence in every way, and so that includes academics. So the fact that the guy said, "Oh, my GPA dropped horrendously," and Princeton was the only school
No,
to
because I
let
was like,
me in,
what is that supposed to mean?
I was very
Like, what do you
confused.
mean? HBCUs are actually very like they're very competitive. The ones that I know about, they're very like competitive, and they don't play that like you have to have good grades to go to these schools.
I literally, and so I was very confused about him saying that and why that was included in the speeches.
I was when they had them saying black excellence, and then they had the non-black people saying that, I busted out laughing because I was like, "You're not
No, I know.
serious."
Also, it was a cute thing to do, like and his mom was very shocked by it, but it was cute because they had been wondering how this was gonna work. Damon, I feel like went through this journey where he really wanted to trust in his mom, and that was actually a point with him and Simone, because he was telling her that he thought that his mom had changed, and Simone was like, "Not so."
Simone said, "Wait a minute."
Simone said, "I ain't gonna let you get the
Simone said, "I
chance."
got your mom's tea." That's basically what Simone said.
Right, right. She was just like, "I know your mom better than you do. She has not changed." And even though she ended up being right, it was the first time that we've seen. Well, I guess not the first. We could think it back to the backdoor pilot, but the first time I think since the show has come back where we've seen them have a difference of opinion. And Damon was really sensitive about his mom and said, like, I told you those things about my mom so that you could listen and uh, not like judge my mom or
He's very in like touch with like his feelings.
yeah.
He communicated that to her without yelling at her, without like I was like, "Oh, okay."
And
Very
I've
un-Jordan like.
very
Very un-Jordan like.
it's true, but to bring it back to our point at the top of Peyton digging deep into and finding his groove with Damon, the way that he said that, the way that he said, "I told you that so that you could listen and not so you could judge my mom," was just like that hit me. I felt bad for him.
You can tell that Damon really cares about what Simone thinks,
Yeah,
and he values. I don't even know how long they've known each other. The short amount of time that they have known each other, he really like respects her and he cares about her.
right, right. And so it really hurt him when she said these things because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it wasn't something that he wanted to hear, and it was for the first time. And we'll transition to her in a second, but for the first time again, just Simone realizing that she doesn't know everything that she thinks she does, and
Yeah,
to temper her
you
temper her
can
thoughts for a second.
you can kind of show it's kind of showing her growth in a way. Like I think pre like while she was in high school,
Mhm.
Simone would have had a different reaction to that.
Yeah.
At least to me. Like I don't think she would have handled that as smoothly as she did.
No, not at all. She was very combative, and that's what's been so surprising about seeing Simone in this new light, is that she hasn't been as strong-willed like as she usually is.
Yeah, she's in a new environment. So I always like take that into consideration. Like she's not with her family anymore. She doesn't have the money and the access like
Yeah.
she used to have. So she's kind of just finding herself in her footing, which I really like. I think that it's really humanizing of her character.
I agree. I agree because to your point, this is not the Simone that we saw, have that scene with with Laura as
No,
Jordan
no,
was in
it's
the
not.
hospital.
Oh
It's
my
a
gosh, yeah,
completely different Simone, and I feel like this might be a weird comparison to see, but there's so many scenes where you can just see that Simone is a young adult and that she's still sort of just a kid learning. Like, I don't know if I can call
oh
her a
yeah,
kid, but just a certain
she's a
innocence that
kid.
I feel like she hasn't
Simone
had
has
before.
for sure. Simone, I think like when you have like new experiences outside of like your parents. It's like, oh my
Right.
gosh, I didn't know people did that. I didn't know you know, I didn't know
Yeah.
things worked that way, and that's what Simone is experiencing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, I really like what they're doing with her character. This
Yeah.
episode, I really felt like I knew Simone.
Yeah, same, and seeing her in this environment, seeing her in college where it is that you're on your own for the first time, and
Mhm.
how she navigates that. It's been
Her being broke has definitely humbled her.
serious? But the way that you just said this,
No, like, I'm so serious.
I
Her
know you're
having
so
no money
serious.
has humbled the heck out of her.
It's very true. It's very true. Oh, a far cry from her leaving in that Uber
When
XL.
she said financial aid, I busted out laughing. She said, "Well, I had never thought I'd hear financial aid and Simone Hicks like in the same." I was like, "Oh, okay. They really have you. They have you struggling."
They have you struggling. I'm dead. No, it's true. It's true. This is not the same girl that. And think about this, right? Is when we first met her, she had the ability to probably take, if it was her credit card or her parents' credit card or whatever, and get a hotel room by herself.
Yeah, she was buying Jordans. She was, she was
Right.
she was.
I
There's
forgot
no
about
way.
that.
There's no way that she did not sit in first class on the way to Vegas. You
You're
can't tell me
absolutely
that
correct.
they
I
did
didn't
not
even
sit
think
in
about
first class.
in her talking about being a sneakerhead. Yeah. Now I got a clue in on what shoes Simone is wearing because I'm like, oh, you gotta
No,
sell some of them.
you gotta sell some of them Jordans, girl.
Yeah. So she's really being humbled. And so
I
yeah,
also
her
think
and
she
Damon.
respects Damon in a way that she doesn't
Yeah,
respect Jordan. Not to trash him, but I think that I think she definitely like respects him.
yeah. You can tell how, again, just how close they've become, and even and I feel like it's so funny because I feel like their storylines are overlapping because they're the co-leads of the show, and the writers have been intentional about building this relationship between the two of them. But even at the top, when he grabbed her hand to help calm her
Oh
down, which
my
was so
gosh,
weird because it started off that
that
he
got
was
me.
like telling her that, like, the baseball team struggles, like we've been talking about, and all of that needed to be done, and she was just talking about tennis and getting a bag for the first. So how did it even land to
Yeah,
him calming her down?
he
I've watched it
de-escalated
twice.
the conversation, like
Right,
the environment that she was in, which she needed at that moment.
right,
He's good
and
for her.
he is, and the way that he grabbed her hand and calmed her down,
It
I
seems like
just
he's done it before. I don't know. I felt like
oh,
it was very familiar. I don't know what to tell you.
you see, he felt kind of comfortable. He was natural
He
grabbing her
felt kind of
hand, like he's
comfortable just
done that.
grabbing her. He's always grabbing her. Like I don't know.
He is. I
Even
I
when they
I
first
definitely
met,
don't think.
him him like grabbing her hand is something he just loves to do.
Very true. Very true. And I don't know. I personally, don't come for me, audience. I personally don't think that she was thinking about Jordan in that moment.
Oh my gosh, did Jordan get a mention this episode?
Did he?
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did. And there were some interesting things in the trailer. Again, once we get to predictions, we'll
She's
jump to
not
that. But
thinking about Jordan. Like she's not. I don't think
I think
when
she's just,
she
like we've
didn't
been
have
talking
time
about,
to.
it's a new world, and she's very settled into this world, and that's the sense that I got. And to move to her, like, the baseball team, congratulations to them. They got, like, sponsorship, local sponsorships, like we said. They could the team morale was boosted, and Damon was able to fix that and work on his relationship with his mom, who he fired as his manager.
I mean,
Which, that was a sweet
does
moment
he
between
even
his
need
mom.
a manager though? Like he's just at
I don't think
school.
he does because he's not in the MLB. But it was nice to see that it was almost like, and this is something that I feel like we haven't gotten necessarily with All American, maybe besides Layla's dad, is his mom admitting that she doesn't know how to be anything else and that she really does care for him.
She doesn't know
And
how to be what he needs in that moment, probably.
right. And just her admitting that, so that they can start to work on the relationship, I thought was really, really cool and a really nice moment. Because we have been presented as her being this hard, exacting momager
Yeah, I
who
think
is just doing anything.
something with All American, they're very like mom, like boys and their moms. They pay close attention to. I don't know that much with Laura, and like Jordan loves his mom.
Hmm.
Jordan, like when that went down, like he was very much team Laura.
Right.
And with Damon and his mom, you can tell that like
He loves
Damon
her so
loves his
deeply.
mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
I, th-
Very
I
true.
like that. I think that's sweet.
Me too. Me too. Um, someone else, it seems like he's been developing feelings. That was not a smooth transition at all, but we love it anyway. Is Simone.
Oh, my sister.
And to this point, I feel like we've already started talking about it. But to your point about her not necessarily having a savior complex, I think it's coming in just this. I don't even know how to describe it other than Simone has been, as she's navigating this new world of hers, has been very naive and making a lot of assumptions about the people around her. So she, was quick to say, Damon, your mom and my mom are basically the same, right? Last week it was Keisha. Oh, not reading the room. Like, Keisha, can
Simone
you get
has
your
never been the
dad?
best at reading a room, though. Like she really,
That's
like
true.
if you look at even like, and I love Simone so much, like
Liv,
that.
don't
She's
don't
never,
lie, Liv. Take the sip.
yeah, like Simone is in her own little bubble.
Yeah,
It's not
very
necessarily
true.
about them. It's just something that I've noticed. Like she is very in the moment type of girl.
Very true. Very true. And we see this with Nathaniel. She sticks up for Nathaniel, but also in a bigger way, sort of with this whole deal with his birthday. So, at the top we see her. She's connecting with the team. They give her a little drip, just a little drip. I love
Just
that
some nice
line.
shoes. I love that she has teammates that love her. I like that. Just
Yes,
really, I don't want to see her struggle with everything she does.
exactly, exactly. And it's really nice that she's connecting to her team so quickly. Um, but yeah, and as we mentioned, like Damon as well, and him calling her Miss Fancy once she got the new athletic equipment and all of that. But so she figures out that it's Thea's birthday is coming up because Keisha made gift bags for her residents. Which again, Keisha, you better go because you're a better RA than I
She
was.
is so nice. Like you do not
She
have to do that.
is. Yeah. I don't know what happens at Bringston, but my college did not give us little funds to be making bags
People
for our
want
residents.
Thea Keisha to happen.
I wouldn't be opposed. I wouldn't be opposed. And they had a little moment at the end with the
Especially
poll.
because there's like even with her, even with Keisha calling her a bitch, like there may be some backstory to that because
Right.
you never saw Thea really say anything about Keisha.
Right. That's true. Yeah, they just had a conversation, which is interesting. But so we know that Simone was, yeah, trying to do something nice for Thea on her birthday. People weren't having it. Thea got really freaked out, and I think this is the first time we've seen her that freaked out when she found out that Simone was throwing this birthday, and it was before it started. And Simone was like, "Trust me,
Because
lies. Don't listen to her. Don't listen to her."
Simone comes from a world of like you have birthday parties and you show up like you have expensive birthday parties
Right,
and you
right.
show
As we
up.
saw this season. As we saw this
Yes,
season.
even like her wedding, her
Right.
non-wedding, you it doesn't matter. You show up to that. Even if you
Exactly.
don't like the person, you have to show up to that. And I think it took her by surprise that nobody showed up to this.
Yeah, because she said that the team was going to comp. So I guess the team
Yeah.
told her that they were going to be
The team
there and
was
then
a
they
bunch of
didn't show up.
liars. Like honestly, that made me so angry. Like it's free cake. Just go.
But also the fact that, to Simone's point, now this is something I did agree with her, even though I do think that she overstepped a little bit, which again is understandable because she's in a new environment. But when she said, Keisha and Nate, you couldn't even give me a heads up.
I was like, they didn't send her a quick text.
Literally. And Thea was basically brought to tears because no
Now,
one
was
showed up for her
JR
birthday.
invited to this, to be fair? If JR was
I don't
invited,
think he
he would have
was. I
shown up.
don't think he was.
I'm just putting that in
I think it
there.
was just for the team.
He would have shown up. I know.
JR would have showed up. Yeah,
Because he
JR would have
loves
showed up.
he loves Thea. He told me himself.
He told you. Yeah, but so she was brought to tears because this is why she doesn't celebrate her birthday, is because she doesn't have friends. And she and Simone have this little heart to heart. And it was really nice to see, and it was really great that Simone sort of admitted her mistake in saying that she really approached this birthday party like something that she would want to do. Like she would want to have this big thing, and she didn't give up on Thea not necessarily being appreciative. Like, to be fair, again, Thea said, like, I don't want this, please don't do this. And then it ended up being
Thea
horrible.
warned her, like, please don't do
Exactly.
this.
Exactly. It ended up being exactly how Thea expected. But the fact that Simone kept trying and then said, I admit my mistakes. So what do you want for your birthday? And we get Thea
Oh,
at family dinners, at least for this
she
one.
just wants to be part of the family. She just wants a family,
She
and I love
just
that.
wants a
Because
family.
I think throughout like the three episodes this show has been on, you can tell that Simone has a very big heart.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
and I loved that it was just no problem for her. Just like, yeah, just come over to family dinner. And I hope we continue to see Thea there.
Yeah, same here.
I loved that. It
Yeah,
warmed my
and I thought
heart.
it was such an organic way to have Thea be included in these family dinners.
Yeah,
Because
because
last week
Cameron
I was like,
ain't using his plate.
right, right, exactly. Cam was not there, was not present in this episode. But like, yeah, in other episodes, I was just, of the podcast, I was just like, how are they going to include Thea in family dinners? Because it makes zero sense for her to be the only main cast member that's not at these family dinners. Uh,
And
and
Simone is
they
actually so funny because she's inviting everybody to her aunt's house for
exactly
her aunt to feed.
exactly. But you'll be happy about this. And shout out to Kaya for everybody that watches Kaya TV. In her reviews, she pointed this out to me. She's also on the JR and Thea train because I got her on that train. But that what was it? The person that said something to Thea like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" Da, 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 and them shaking hands, like they were shaking hands in the background. Thea and JR. So it was a small interaction.
They just met each other. That made how they're both sophomores.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my
I
gosh,
don't know.
we watched them met and now we're gonna watch them fall in love. Oh my gosh, it's a full
Exactly.
circle moment for me.
So we're coming to something up here. We're coming to something
Yeah,
here. But it was really sweet how they introduced, and I'm really excited to see how they sort of further Thea's like friendship with Simone and with the rest of the group for sure. Because then we got that sexy little moment where
I was
Thea
like,
was
oh,
defending the
okay.
pole dancing, and that it was a hard sport to do, and we got Nathaniel, Thea, and Keisha pole dancing at the end, which props, they were killing it. They were killing it.
I love how Thea just fits in with that group.
I agree, and they need, in the same way that Cam brings a different dynamic, like they need a different dynamic. Damon is not going to be
Yeah.
the overconfident Damon that we know with Simone. He's just not.
No, he's not. They
He's
need
so soft
somebody
around
to
her.
look at them and like to check them when they're
Yeah.
being a little insane, and I think Thea is the perfect for that.
Exactly. So I'm really excited to see her in this friendship environment, but also like more of the whole friend group together because
They
we
have
get
such great
Keisha.
chemistry.
Yeah, they have great chemistry, and I feel like we get them in silos now, and it's Keisha, Nathaniel, and Simone, and then like Damon and JR, and then Keisha and Cam, and so I hope that now that we've established the show, that we get to see them all together as friends and hanging out, and so that'll be
To
cool.
me, this show has a big three, but also has like a core four. The
Yeah,
big three of this show for me is Simone, Damon, and Thea. And the
right,
core four is Simone, Nathaniel, Keisha, and Thea.
right, right. No,
That
I
makes
agree.
sense.
No, yeah, and I think I agree. I concur. I concur. As we know, though, that I think it's Keisha. Keisha is the it girl, not Thea.
No, yeah, Keisha is the it girl. Keisha is the popular one. Because,
Yes.
oh my gosh, we also learned Thea got some money.
Yeah. Donate. But I
Donating?
thought we knew that, right? Because we
Did
knew
we?
that her family donated. Yeah, in the back
I
door.
don't remember that at all. I was like, oh, your family donated that?
Yeah. She has money. She's rich. Is
Good
Simone
for
just
her.
using her? I don't know. We'll find out in prediction.
Oh my god.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my
She's
gosh.
not.
When
Simone is
they
too
move
sweet.
in together, because you know Thea is going to
It's
have an apartment.
true.
She's not going to live in that dorm forever.
No, you're right. And what if, when Simone figures out her whole rooming situation, she might move into Thea's room.
And that's how we get Thea and JR, because JR is going to be besties with Simone and he's going to come visit Simone.
Facts, facts. Speaking of JR and Simone being besties, we've hardly seen them interact. And now all of a sudden they're the Hardy Boys for this let's figure out who Damon's parents are.
Yeah, like what the heck was that? I was like, okay. I actually really love them together though. I
I
think
do, but it's just like this storyline it's been so it's such a harsh, sharp turn from the other storylines that they've been having.
you're like,
You know what I
how,
mean?
when did we come into investigators? Like what the heck?
Exactly. They
Simone,
just
like
have him looking at
I
these
couldn't have
pictures,
imagined this.
right? Asking his mom, creepily looking at pictures of maybe a young Damon. Like,
But I am happy I'm gonna get like Simone and JR scenes out of this. Because
right?
I was robbed of a Simone and Spencer friendship that I wanted.
That's true.
So I may get a Simone and JR.
Yeah, and I'm excited because ever since he said the little run now freshman, love him.
He's so nice.
He's so nice, and so it's gonna be interesting because they have this theory that it's either JR's parents are actually Damon's parents, or it's Amara and Turner are Damon's parents.
Damon
And
is not related to Simone. I will say
Damon
right
is
now.
not. Yeah, I was
They
just
are
like, we
not
can strike
related.
that one. We can strike that one off the list. But it's either that or none at all. But I feel like they might make him be JR's brother. If
That'd be really cute.
yeah, 'cause otherwise I feel like it's a waste of a picture.
It's a waste of a Okay.
It's a waste because I mean, like the picture meaning like the whole story. Like I feel like they
It's
put
like,
too
why
much
would you
thought.
have that in the Bible anyways?
Exactly. Like that just feels too detailed for it not to lead somewhere. But speaking of leading somewhere, we've talked about the episode. It was a good episode. Predictions. Thanks for listening to Film Study and All-American podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode, and don't forget to check out my review of All-American Season 4, Episode 10, 6 in the morning. All right, take care.